Hi, it's Tash. Welcome to Tash's Library. Today's video is going to be my December TBR, which is a super exciting because not only am I going to play my TBR game, but I'm also participating in Reindeer Readathon, which is my favorite readathon of the year, which means I have to somehow tally together like the two prompts. So this time I will be doing all the roles and think about them and then do the talking about books in between, but I would have thought about them for a while because it's a bit complicated. But anyway, so super exciting. I will try and double up as much as possible to try and keep to a reasonable number of books because yes, I will start holidays in December, but at the same time, it's also quite a busy month. There's quite a lot to get done. So I'll have a little bit more time for reading sometimes, but also a little less time at other times. So it'll probably average out. Also, I'm going to continue Buzzwordathon, and December's buzzword is a holiday term. So I'm going to have to put that in somewhere as well, just because it's not tricky enough. I make my life very difficult with my TBR games. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do my TBR game and pick books. And then I'm going to go over how I've matched those prompts to Reindeer Readathon. So it's kind of not all fragmented. So it's just like my TBR game, and then I'll have a timestamp for Reindeer Readathon. Just bear in mind that I probably won't do the synopses for books again for Reindeer Readathon. And so if you're interested in that, you have to watch the whole video. But anyway, without further ado, let's go. And here's the board. Once again, I play with my little trusty Eeyore Lego piece. He starts here and goes around the board. Each color he lands on corresponds to a card. Green is It's So Random, which are picker wheels and other games. Yellow, All in the Making, which are publication details and authors. Red, It's a Vibe, which is genres and tropes, etc. What's in a Name are title prompts, and purple is from cover to cover, which are cover prompts. I throw 2 dice. If I throw a double, I have to add an extra roll. So without further ado, let us begin. Roll number 1 is a 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's a red card. It's a Vibe. And this is a book with a non-human protagonist. So that could be anything. Could be an angel, AI, werewolf, etc. It's a Vibe. And this time it's a book with a non-human protagonist. And for this one, I'm going to read Summer's End by Juno Black. Now, let me just explain. November's been a bad month because my TBR was going swimmingly, and then I got quite sick. I got a really bad cold, and I threw my TBR away effectively because I felt like comfort reading. So I ended up actually binge reading the majority of this series, and I only have 1 book left. And I loved it. It's so good. But anyway, the first book is called Shady Hollow, and it follows the point of view of a vixen, sort of like an anthropomorphized vixen called Vera, who is a journalist, and she comes across a murder that she wants to solve. So this entire town of Shady Hollow is inhabited by these anthropomorphized animals. And it is absolutely adorable. And yes, animals get murdered, but they like anthropomorphized animals, and there's like murder mysteries. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. It's just such a comfort read. This series is so good. I'm loving it so much. So anyway, this is the 5th book, I believe. It is indeed. So I'm not going to tell you what happens in it, but it's exploring the mysteries of the ancient woodland in order to unmask a modern murderer. And obviously all the characters in this are non-human, and therefore it's a non-human protagonist. Roll number 2 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yellow, All in the Making, which is a translated book. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I like translated books. All in the making, and it's a translated book. I had quite a few choices here, but I am actually going to read Camus's The Plague. Now, this is translated from French, and it's a really old book. It's like a super old book. Let me have a quick little squiz. But yes, it was first published in 1947 in France. But yes, so this is obviously about a plague. So on the morning of April 16th, Dr. Rieu emerged from his consulting room and came across a dead rat in the middle of the landing. It starts with the rats vomiting blood. They die in their hundreds, then in their thousands. When the rats are all gone, the citizens begin to fall sick. Like the rats, they too die in ever greater numbers. Then there's a quarantine, etc. Pandemic. So it'll be quite apocalyptic in some ways, but I'm kind of intrigued. I have borrowed this book and it sounds really good, and I want to get to it, even though it's not my kind of book normally. Roll number 3 is a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Blue title prompt. And that is a positive word in the title. So that could be happy or anything like that. Anything that's I deem positive. What's in a name? Because I love pulling blue cards. And there's a positive word in the title. And for this one, I'm going to go with The Life of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin, taking it kind of loosely that heaven is a fairly positive word, I think. Anyway, I mean, you know, the heavenly dessert. It sounds positive. But anyway, so this is a science fiction book which follows George Orr, who is in most respects a mild and unremarkable man, but he has an ability with which he can transform the world around him. For George's dreams alter reality. His psychiatrist, at first skeptical, cannot resist using George's powers once he sees their effects. Initially just to advance his own career, but then gaining confidence to try to change their overcrowded world into a more attractive place. Sounds very cool, and I do want to read this because I'm going to add this to the Our Fantasy bingo board for the Dreams square, and I do still have a few squares to go for that, so I may as well get this onto my TBR. Roll number 4. So far so good, no doubles. I do that every time. If you watch my November TBR, I did this exactly the same thing. I just said, so far no doubles, and then I throw a double. But that's okay. I need to stop doing that. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cover prompts. And this one's shadows or silhouettes on the cover. And from cover to cover, shadows or silhouettes on the cover, I'm going to go with a sequel. And this is the sequel to Foul Days by Genevieve de Mofa. And it's Monstrous Nights. So I'm super excited about this because I absolutely loved Foul Days. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It follows a witch who lives in this walled city of Chernograd, and she bargains away her shadow. Now, the shadow for a witch is essential to their survival and to their magic. So this is really bad, and she does it because she's under extreme distress. Then she has to try and recapture her shadow. But she's living in this really cool world full of all of these Eastern European mythological creatures that are monsters. And they hunt people down at the beginning of the year following New Year's, where the veil between worlds is particularly thin for some reason. But it's so cool. Then there's walled city because the other city next to it is walled off because that one doesn't have any monsters. And so it's very cool. It kind of is sort of reminiscent of East-West Berlin, that kind of feel. Very Eastern European. very cool murder mystery type thing happening. Great monsters, great magic, just great folklore in general. Absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to get to the sequel. All right, roll number 5 of 9 now is a 3. 1, 2, 3, blue. Title prompt: alliteration, assonance, or double meaning in the title. Another what's in the name, and this is alliteration, assonance, or double meaning in the title. And for this one, I'm going for the Scions of Shannara, which is the first book in this particular bind-up. So technically like the 4th book in the Shannara series, because I've read the original trilogy, which I absolutely adored. But anyway, so I can't actually tell you what happens in this because there would be spoilers from what I can see. But Shannara, I mean, everyone's probably heard of it. I absolutely love it. Like the first book, The Sword of Shannara, is a little bit of, let's say it has similarities to Lord of the Rings. Now, for some people, this is a problem. For me, it was amazing because I love the Lord of the Rings, and I was just searching for something that would capture the same sort of feel. So I actually quite like reading books that are similar because I enjoy them. They become cozy, fun reads for me. So I really love The Sword of Shannara. And then the rest of the series actually goes its own way anyway, so it's really cool. Characters are great. It just, sword and sorcery, traditional quest, just fabulous companions, all the different mythological species that you have in fantasies. It's just really fun, and it's basically one of my priority authors at the moment because I'm gradually working through all the Shannara series. So I'm very excited to get to this one because I desperately need to continue. So super excited. Roll number 6 is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Purple. And that's a foiled or shiny cover. Super fun for Christmas. From cover to cover, a foiled or shiny cover. And for this one, I'm going to read a book I really wanted to read that was released this year, and that's A Voyage of the Damned. And you can see it's quite shiny. It's got quite a lot of foiling all the way, spine and cover. And this is a debut novel released in 2024, and it just sounds really, really cool. It's like a fantasy murder mystery, I think. So 12 magical blessings, 12 days at sea, 1 chance to stop a killer and save the world. For 1,000 years, Concordia has maintained peace between its provinces. To mark this incredible feat, the Empress ship embarks upon a 12-day voyage to the sacred goddess's mountain. Aboard are the heirs of the 12 provinces of Concordia, each grace of a unique and secret magical ability known as a blessing. Except one, Ganymede's Pissarro, class clown, slacker, and all-round disappointments. When a beloved heir is murdered, everyone is a suspect. Stuck at sea, surrounded by powerful people, and without a blessing to protect him, Ganymede's odds of survival are slim. So he must become the hero he was not born to be. Can he unmask the killer? Now, the one thing I have discovered this year, probably last year actually, is I love fantasy or science fiction books that have a murder, a mystery components. Absolutely love them. So I'm super looking forward to this one. Sounds really cool, and the cover's just absolutely gorgeous. Roll number 7 is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Woohoo! Finally a green. Look how many greens I have in comparison to everything else, because this game knows that that's my favorite color and my favorite set of prompts. Ooh, starts with the last letter of the previous pick. And a green one, yay, I love the green ones. Starts with the last letter of the previous pick. So the previous pick was A Voyage of the Damned, so it's a D. So what I've done is I've picked 3 books that start with D, although they all have the in front of it, but I haven't counted the. Now, the reason I've picked 3 books will become very clear when we get to the Reindeer Readathon bits. But basically, I want you guys to help me decide which book to read, because there are 3 books I really want to get to, and I couldn't quite decide. And I figured, well, this is a really cool way to do it. And I thought about picker wheels, and I thought about all sorts of things. But I've done a poll with you guys before, and that was awesome. It worked really well, and I really like to get people's inputs in what I should be reading. So the first book, the first option is The Dog Sitter Detective, which I know sounds quite silly, but December is a really good time to read silly books. It really is. And I do love dogs. So I think like this could be a really fun read for the end of the year. So this one follows penniless Gwynnie Tuffle, who's delighted to attend her good friend Tina's upmarket wedding. But when the big day ends of a dead body and not a happily ever after, Gwynnie is left with a situation as crooked as a dog's hind leg. When her friend is accused of murder, Gwynnie takes it upon herself to sniff out the true culprit. With a collection of larger-than-life suspects and 2 pedigree Salukis in tow, she sets to have a rough time of it. That sounds fun. Second book would be The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. Now, this would be a good one because it would finish up a duology for me, and I'd read the first book a long time ago. So the first book was 6 Crimson Cranes. So it follows this princess who has some forbidden magic. One day she loses control of this magic and then is discovered by her stepmother, who banishes her from the land and transforms her brothers into cranes. But there's an extra curse on that, because if she speaks to anyone, her brothers will die. So for every word she speaks out loud, one of her brothers will die. So she goes off in search of her brothers and to try and find a way to save them. This was just really fun. It was a really beautiful, just mythological book. It was just a really fun read. I really enjoyed it. And may I say how beautiful these covers are? Yes. So yes, this will be a continuation. I am wanting to continue and finish series, so that would be a good option. And the third option is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And this would be a good option because, first of all, Sylvia Moreno Garcia is one of my favorite writers. I have loved everything I've read by her. She is just amazing, and I really want to get to this book. Also, my sister gifted this to me for my birthday, so I would also like to read it because of that. So yes, so they're my 3 options. I will set up a community poll. You can also comment below and I will tally it all up. So the choices are The Dog Sitter Detective, a fun animal-based romp, or The Dragon's Promise, a nice mythological continuation of a series, or The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, which would be a really kind of gothic type feel. I'm looking forward to all 3 of them equally. So looking forward to seeing what you guys want me to read. Roll number 8 is a 4 and a double. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cover prompt. And that is a person on the cover. Super easy. From cover to cover, and it's a person on the cover. And for this one, I'm also going to continue a series and by another beloved author so far, because I love the first book. And this is Chaos Terminal by Muir Lafferty. So the first book is Station Eternity, and I gave that one 5 stars. It was so good. And it follows this woman called Mallory, who has this talent for solving murders, but the talent kind of means that she is often coming across murders, and a lot of people she knows end up getting murdered. So in order to escape the supposed curse, she decides to go live on her own in this alien space station with all these different alien creatures. And the world building is incredible in this. It is so cool, the different aliens she actually interacts with. But of course, a murder still manages to follow her. And so it becomes this murder mystery in space. And once again, I love, love, love mysteries in my sci-fi and fantasy. So absolutely adored this. It was just very creative, so original, and the characters are wonderful. And just as I said, the world building, superb. And so I'm super keen to finish Chaos Terminal, which is the second book. Now, I believe the third book's out already as well, so I'm way behind. But yes, I'm going to go on that. And it's got a person on the cover. Roll number 9 is a 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a title prompt. And it's a color in the title. Fun. There are a lot of books with colors in the title. What's in a name? And it's a color in the title. I do love these. I have a lot of books with colors in the title. But I'm going for another beloved author. Beloved. This is Blackout by Connie Willis. This is technically the first half of a book called All Clear. But they've kind of split it up. So it's Blackout and then All Clear. And basically what this follows is this group of historians who time travel from Oxford in 2060s, etc. And so what happens is they send them back to different parts of history to learn about it, to help inform recreations, etc. The previous 2 that I've read were Doomsday Book, which took historians back to plague time England. And then there was To Say Nothing of the Dog, which is sort of Victorian era canals, etc. It was really fun. It was very comedy of manners. So they were very different tones. But what's very cool about this is even some of the really dark components of these books are still alleviated by this really great humor that Connie Willis infuses through it, particularly through some characters that become comic relief. Superb characters. Mr. Dunworthy, who's like one of the mentors in this, is one of my favorite characters. He is so good. And Colin, oh my God, Colin is amazing. But anyway, I believe Mr. Dunworthy is still involved here. But in this time, they're obviously going back to the time of World War II. So it's going to be quite bleak, I think, at times. But I'm super keen because I love her writing. And even though it's a chunk, and I probably will then binge All Clear in January, I'm hoping, because I believe there's a real cliffhanger here. They've just pretty much cut it in half. So I will have to continue it pretty quickly. But I'm super keen because her writing is just so easy to read and you just fly through it because you can't put it down. And roll number 10, the final roll, perhaps, is a 3. 1, 2, 3, and there's another green one. And this one is an ebook D12 roll. Woohoo! Yes, this is fun. This means I need to pick 12 books from my Kindle, lay them out upside down, and then I throw a D12 to decide which one I'm going to read. Another green. This time it's an ebook D12 roll. I love these. So what I'm going to do is have my 12 books and roll a D12 dice and see which one I get. So let's go to the rolls. All right, so I'm going to do my D12 ebook roll. So what I've done is I've picked 12 books that I have on my Kindle that I would like to read for various reasons. So the first one is Masked City, which is the second book in the Invisible Library series. I really enjoyed the first book. I'm quite keen to continue. I then have Andorra Pet and the Oort Cloud Cafe. This just sounds kind of fun, and I think it'll be a really cool December read. I have The Cabinets, which are translated short stories. This has been on my 2024 TBR for quite some time, so I'd like to get to that ideally. A Curious Beginning. I've heard really cool things about this one. It is the first book in a series, but it sounds like it's kind of like detective, kind of cozy. I'm looking forward to that one. Blood in the Mist. I don't know very much about that, but it does sound intriguing, and I would like to get to it. It's some sort of fantasy. Yeah. Stardust Grail. This is a highly anticipated read. Really hoping I get this one because I'm really keen. This is kind of like Indiana Jones in space. A River Enchanted I want to get to because that's going to fulfill one of my prompts for our Reddit's fantasy. Sabriel, super keen to read this. I've heard great things about it. Legend by David Gemmell, epic fantasy, all for it. Semiosis, I think that's kind of like a first contact sci-fi. I love First Contact and this sounds really cool. Two Twisted Crowns would complete a series for me. So the first one is One Dark Window. I did quite like it. I didn't love it, but I would like to complete it. Then I've got The Mimicking of Known Successes, which sounds very cool. Like it's like murder mystery sci-fi, which is one of my favorite things of all time. So, and apparently a novella too. So that could be really cool for a busy month. And then that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to completely mix these up. And I mean, not that it's going to matter too much because I'm going to throw a dice as well. But let's keep it exciting because then I won't know which one it actually is. So then I've got, just check, that's all on camera. I hope it is. 2, 3. Let's lay them all out. Hope for the best. All right. Oh, this is so exciting. Alrighty. So those sort of all on camera, I think. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And got my 12 die with a cute little dinosaur in it. If you can see the dinosaur, probably not. Quite hard to see, but he is in there, a little brontosaurus. All right. Throwing. 10. All right. So I could go backwards by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is it. And the winner is Sabriel. That sounds cool. I'm super excited about that one. And the winner is Sabriel by Garth Nix. I'm super excited about this. I mean, yes, I wanted the Stardust Grail. I really want to read that so badly. But that's okay. That's okay. I didn't manage to get it on this TBR. But I'm also very happy with Sabriel because I've heard such good things about it. And it is the first book of a series. And it follows Sabriel, who's lived outside the walls of the Old Kingdom, away from the random power of free magic and away from the dead who won't stay dead. But now her father, the Major Borson, is missing, and to find him, Sabriel must cross back into that treacherous world and face the power of her own extraordinary destiny. I don't know, I've heard great things about it. I don't know much beyond that, but I'm super keen to start this series. So yes, we'll do the Reindeer Readathon now. I will link the announcement video below. If you haven't ever participated in Reindeer Readathon, I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. But yes, so basically it's got the 9 reindeer with different prompts, and then you have options for some bonus prompts, and then a extra bonus prompt as well. But it's just super fun. It is competitive. I am on team Mistletoe, which is super exciting. And I'm going to try and get as many points for my team as possible while trying to also read my TBR. So we shall see how many I can match up. So the first prompt is Dasher, which is worth 10 points. And this is read a book that is recommended to you on social media or is a list recommendation. For this, I'm going to go with Monstrous Knights. So yes, that's a book for my TBR. And the reason for that is because I actually saw a video by Danny Dabbles, link below, who read that recently and really, really liked it. Dancer, 15 points. And this is read a book genre that matches your favorite music genre. Okay, so I don't necessarily have a favorite music genre, but I do have genres I quite enjoy. And one of them is jazz. The genre that I associate with jazz is mystery. I know, I just really do. It's that kind of like detective noir feel. So this isn't quite detective noir, But I reckon Summer's End, which is going to be a little animal murder mystery, will fit Jazz very, very well. For Prancer, worth 10 points, it's read a book where the synopsis mentions a named event or date. So for this one, pretty easy. I'm going to go with Blackout by Connie Willis, because not only does it mention Oxford in 2060, it also mentions prepping for Dunkirk, VE Day, the Blitz, and World War II. And I know all that is part of World War II, but it actually does explicitly mention all those events. So I think that matches that prompt very, very well. Vixen, worth 15 points, is read a book you didn't buy. And for this one, it's super easy. I'm going to go with The Plague by Kamos, and that's because I have borrowed this from my boyfriend. And didn't buy it, don't own it. So that fits the prompt. So Comet is read a book that ends on the last digit of the day of your birth. So for me, that's 3. And so I'm going to go with Christmas Treats by Enid Blyton, which has 353 pages. And this is a collection of 29 short stories, I believe, that are all Christmas related. So it should be a super fun, very Christmassy themed, and just kind of a nice way to end the year. It'll also be my Buzzwordathon book, because it will have the word Christmas and the word treats in it, which are both holiday words in my mind. Then Cupid, worth 10 points, is read a book from an author that you have already given 5 stars. Now, I could have technically picked a few of those that I've picked from my TBR, but I think for this one, I'm going to pick Scions of Shannara, because I have indeed given some of the Shannara books 5 stars. And so yes, Terry Brooks, very likely to be a 5-star for me as well. Donna, worth 20 points, is going to be read a book where the cover contains one of the first 4 words you see in the word search. Now, I have not done the word search. What I've done is I've put all the words from the word search into a picker wheel. And so let's go to that now and see which 4 words I have selected. All right, so for the Donna prompt, I have put all the words into a wheel of names, just because I find it easier and more fun. I don't know, I did this last year. It kind of worked really well. So I'm going to spin 4 times, and they'll give me my 4 words from the word grid. And then I'm going to have to pick a book that has that on the cover. So without further ado, let's spin first time. And I have, lightning, fun. All right, so let's see the next word. Second word, it's spinning, spinning, spinning. And I have, is it a cloud? It is a cloud. So lightning, cloud. I'm getting a weather theme here. All right, let's remove that word so I don't pull it again. Spinning for the 3rd time. And let's see what's coming up. Is it battle bird? Bird. It is a bird. Something else in the sky. Lightning, cloud, bird. Oh my gosh. All right. And the final row is, what could it be? What could it be? And it's looking like battle, building. It is a building. Okay, something not in the sky. Anyway, so they're my 4 words. So lightning, cloud, bird, and building. Very exciting. Okay, so I got pretty good words there. Pretty easy to find. Going to go, because I'm obviously trying to double up as much as possible, I'm going to pick The Laith of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin, because he is actually standing in a building. There's a structure there. So I think that fits it. So yeah, gone with building. Blitzen were 15 points. Is choose 3 books that start with the same letter and randomly choose one. And now this all makes sense, right? Why I have done the poll. So once again, I've got The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, The Dragon's Promise, and then The Dog Sitter Detective. So they all start with the D and the. So I can't go wrong. It doesn't matter if you include the D or not. They still start with the same letter. And once again, I'm going to get you guys to choose it. And that's how I'm randomly going to choose it. So it's going to be one of those 3. And Rudolph were 15 points. Is read a debut novel. And super easy this one because I'm going to pick Voyage of the Damned. And then you can get bonus points. So Christmas Star with 25 points is to read a book that's over 500 pages. And so that's going to be a Blackout. So that's going to fit my Prancer and my Christmas Star. For Christmas Lights, for 15 points, I need to read an ebook. And so for this one, I'm going to use my Dasher prompt, which is going to be Monstrous Nights, because I'm going to be reading that on my Kindle. Christmas Carols, worth 20 points. I'm going to pick my Christmas Treats book because I'm going to listen to that on audio. And that, of course, was my Comet pick. For Christmas Tree, worth 20 points, I need to read a book that I typically wouldn't go for. And for this one, I'm going to pick my Vixen Prompts book. And I'm going to go with The Plague. Now, even though I don't mind pandemic type books, I'm not very into apocalyptic books. And I'm actually a little bit scared, particularly classics. It's sort of like an apocalyptic classic. Not something I normally would go for, but I've heard it's good. So I'm going to give that one a go. Christmas Elf were 15 points. It's a book that's been on my shelf for some time. And for this one, I'm going to double up with Scions of Shannara. So that was my Cupid pick. And that's because I've actually had these, I've had the first 2 trilogies in these hardcover bind-ups for quite a while. And I finally got to the first lots and now into the second lots. And then if I complete all of that, so all the 9 prompts plus all the bonus prompts, I'm going to go for Slaying It, which is then a 10th book for Reindeer Readathon. And this means you can redo a prompt for 50 points. And I would be redoing Cupid. Then I can double up with Chaos Terminal, because I have indeed given this author a 5-star before. And then that was it. I think I could pretty much do it. I've had to add a couple others. So I've pretty much doubled up perfectly, except for having to add Sabriel to my actual TBR and then Christmas Treats to my Reindeer Readathon. So that's okay though, because that takes me to 12 books. And it's doable. One of them's audio. I can do audio. And it's a shortish audio. 5 hours or so. So it's actually, I think, quite a doable list. I'm super excited about this TBR. I think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. And I cannot wait to see which book you guys have picked for me. So yes, if you watched this long, thank you, because this has been like an extraordinarily long video. And thank you for watching. And until I see you next time, take care. And I hope you all have a lot of fun building your December TBRs.